Hi Shark, so today we have got this image stimulus and a story starter that really made me think. When I first looked at the image stimulus, I thought it might be a story about wildlife, the environment, but then when I looked at the story starter, it almost has a bit of a fantasy novel theme. So let's read through. These two superheroes had had a lifetime of saving lives. Day after day they had battled the streets, fighting crime and protecting innocent people from the clutches of evil. Now their lives were slightly less busy, as they left saving the world to younger superheroes. However, they still had the energy for one last mission. The phone began to ring. So we've got a beautiful cliffhanger there with ellipsis. So we know that they're ready for one final mission. I can infer that from the one last mission. And I am predicting that the phone beginning to ring is something to do with the mission. So I spotted a few skills that they'd used really effectively. Firstly, openers. As a reader, I was helped through the writing by the openers. I completely understood where we were. So especially this simple opener here with now, that told me that something was different now. So it was different from their days of fighting to protect innocent people, and now their life was a little bit different. They also used however to kind of flip that back on its head again. So now their lives are less busy. However, there's time for one last mission. So it's kind of flipping backwards and forwards using those openers. We've got our Year 5-6 spelling of ENT. See if you can find that now. So I found our ENT suffix on innocent. Innocent being an antonym of guilty. So someone who hasn't done anything wrong. So try and use your ENT spellings today or your ENCE spellings. I also thought our waggle had lots of tension today, especially the ellipsis at the end, but all the way through with things like day after day they had battled, some really powerful vocabulary, fighting crime, protecting. It's very action-packed vocabulary. And finally, I spotted a homophone, and it's the use of the correct their. So now their lives were slightly less busy. Remembering the 3 different spellings of their, make sure that when we're talking about something that belongs to someone, so the lives belonging to the tigers, it's THEIR. Some vocabulary you might need for today. I've already mentioned this word, but battled, really powerful language. So to battle, it's a darker shade of meaning than just to fight. Innocent, as we discussed, being an antonym of guilty, and this phrase I thought was beautiful. See if you can use this in your writing today. Clutches of evil. When we clutch something, we grasp it with our hand, we hold it. So in the clutches of evil tells us that those innocent people really were in danger. They were being grasped by evil, whether that be a person or a mindset. So for my model today, I wanted to carry on this story starter, and I thought it was desperate for some vocabulary to do with the tigers talking to one another, so some dialogue. So this is my example. I want you to try and use dialogue to move the writing on here. We've got lots of description, but I think you could use dialogue later. It's time, Reaver roared to his long-time companion. Sluggishly, Sinma rose from his slumber. Despite his tired body, the look in his eyes was as fierce as ever. The adrenaline rush of fighting evil never leaves you, Reaver found himself thinking. So remember, you're trying to develop the characters as well. So we might want one of them to be a little bit more determined than the other. So here, because of the word sluggishly, from his slumber, meaning sleep, Sinma might be the slightly more tired one, but we want to show that dynamic between 2 characters. But that might lead to character development later, where in fact it is Sinma's responsibility to save Reaver. So that makes your reader really question, is he going to be able to do it? He was very tired and sleepy at the start. So send me your writing to our class email address. So for your sentence challenge, it's asking you to replace the colours with alternative words. So A really poor shade of meaning might be just blue, not very high level vocabulary, but we might replace that with sapphire. Instead of green, we might replace it with emerald, and black, reflecting on our lesson a couple of weeks ago, we could use charcoal, jet black, using your hyphenated word. What effect does this have on the writing? Pause the video for a second and think about what effect does up-leveling these colour words have on the writing. Okay, and a little bit of time to think whilst we're working on our model. Why would authors use colour imagery? What is the purpose of using colour imagery? Okay, so a little bit of help of why we might use colour imagery and how we might do so. So I've provided you with a little wheel of colours and what they might symbolise. So you might want to use these in your writing today. So red can symbolise love, but also anger. So if we're talking about the red of someone's eyes, it might show that they're an angry character. You could describe the black that we've discussed. So it might describe evil or mystery. We could talk about a black sky, an inky sky. That makes our reader think about the mystery held in the sky. It's almost foreshadowing what might happen. It's not going to be something particularly happy if we've got a deep black sky. However, equally, we might have blue, the cool blue water of the lake. That suggests that it's quite a peaceful chapter in your writing. Something nice might be about to happen. So I want you to try and use some of this coloured imagery in your writing today. Your next challenge is going to be editing some sentences that need up-leveling. So we've got some really boring sentences here, like it was big and orange. Instead of it, I want to tell my reader exactly what I'm talking about, so there's no doubt. I also don't really like the word big or orange. They're very boring, they don't add extra shade of meaning. So my model for up-leveling that sentence would be: the tiger's body, using my apostrophe for possession, the body belongs to the tiger, was a mass of jet and orange. Despite being bulky, as he moved, the muscles rippled slowly beneath his velvet skin. I want my reader to picture what I'm describing as if it's a movie in their mind. So make sure you're trying to describe exactly what's happening, how the tigers move, how they drink from the pool.